Hey, you guys are back with Tiffany from Mellow Vybes, and today we are talking about how to protect your energy. So, this is something that was voted on. So, this is why I'm giving it to you. So, next time, if you want to vote on a video, go to my Instagram page, instagram.com/mellow_vibes with a Y, VYBES. So, if you are new here, my channel helps introspective, spiritual, artistic, wanderlusting freedom seekers work towards living the life that they desire, develop and share their gifts, and also be more self-aware, develop healthy relationships, develop a healthier you. Okay, so be sure to subscribe if this is interesting to you, turn on your notifications if it's interesting to you. And I'm gonna shout out the video that I'm actually responding to is called How I Protect My Energy and Deal with Negative, Difficult, and Toxic People. And this is by HINDZ on YouTube. So I have some notes because this is something I wanted to talk about for a while actually. And I saw his video, so it was perfect. But he made a really good point, I will say, of saying that if we are doing the work on ourselves, our daily practices of tuning into ourselves, which could be meditating, journaling, affirmation, stuff like that, then we should be able to handle like certain kinds of energy that come at us. We should, a certain energy shouldn't be able to just like tear us down and make us feel like depleted, which is true. But it's like how many people are doing the work, and this is why I am always talking about this stuff with people. And it's always a reminder for myself as well. Like, I'm not perfect by any means just because I teach this stuff. Sometimes, life gets crazy and you just forget to do the stuff that you're supposed to do. Yeah. And if this is looking a little, I don't know if it doesn't look, I don't know. I'm recording on my computer today instead of my phone, so it won't be like 4K, I guess, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna have some good information anyway. So what I have to say in like response to add to the video, because I love how concise he was. The video was like 5 minutes long. I am usually a concise person, but somehow when I press record, I'm talking for so long. So what I would say is, be self-aware. Being self-aware is having awareness of self is, I think, number one. And it amazes me all the time how unaware people are of themselves. And you kind of see a lot. You see it a lot in reality television, but we won't get into that. But it's like, it's funny. It's not funny though, but it's funny. So in order to work on being self-aware, have those daily practices that he was talking about, that HINDZ was mentioning. Journal, do yoga, do your meditating, do your sitting in silence and having your time to just channel whatever's coming to you. Like, that is how you become more aware of yourself. Why did I look discombobulated? Is that just me? Okay, that looks okay. So I will say I'm an instructor of Anaya Wellness, formerly known as Bloom Healing Arts Academy, and we have classes on this, like breath work. We have like classes basically every day on different things. Like, I have my classes on. I have a lot of journaling classes actually, and there's the breath work there. What was the new one I just saw? A new class just went up. It was about like emotional wellness. It was something, but it sounded great, and I'm like, I might take that class. But so go to Anaya Wellness. I'll have the link underneath for Anaya for that, so you can start figuring out which practices work for you. We have instructors from all over the place covering a whole range of things, and so you can find some practices that work for you, because not everything works for everyone. That's why we have a whole bunch of different instructors. Getting back to the subject at hand, after you have awareness of self, have awareness of others. Like, start to, like, for me, I am super observant. I've always been observant. I just always remember like watching things, like just watching the people around me, watching, like I was always a super, super quiet individual and I was an observer. And I love that actually my grandmother said that to me like a couple of years ago. She's like, you were always an observant child. You just always just, you know, you sat back, you watched, you listened, you just took in what was going around you. And I love that she even noticed that she was observant, because I didn't grow up around my grandparents like the rest of my cousins did. Most of my cousins did, because I was the only one who grew up like basically outside of Philly or that area. So, but because I'm naturally observant, it comes naturally to me. But if you know that you're not maybe a naturally observant person, like start to be intentional about that, put that into practice, let that be your second step, because first is yourself, your own self-awareness, and working on that with certain practices. And second is starting to intentionally observe other people, like start with the people around you. Like maybe you see your sister all the time, start observing her, observe how she is when she's happy, observe how she is when she's frustrated, start to read those cues in body language. Like literally just focus in on one person for a certain period of time, and you'll start to see without words like how people change, how their energy changes in different circumstances. You know, develop like the muscle of observing, so you can then feel it and start transferring that skill. You can start to feeling it with strangers, like when you walk up into a place and there's a lot of different energy, and you know, feeling where that's coming from. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not, maybe it's weird. Like you'll start to pick up on these things faster when you practice. So start being intentional with that. Yeah, you really learn to like, you'll learn like when people are saying one thing but meaning another, like masking something else. Example is, I was kind of seeing somebody before years ago, and I can't remember what we were even talking about, but he said something jokingly, and I was just like, and because I knew that what he said was actually masking this like insecurity that he had, and it wasn't like obvious, like it wasn't something that other people would pick up on. I was just like, okay. You start to notice things like that when you are an observant person, and you can quickly get to know people and their energy. And so third, I would say, is then you get into doing some visualizations. This is the actual work of the actual practice of protecting yourself. Let's get into that. Visualizations of yourself being covered, like slowly do in your mind, like close your eyes and do like basically a kind of body scan of like covering yourself in protection. I think we just talked about this on one of the episodes of Feminine Waters podcast, where I think it was Tan, who is actually the founder of Anaya Wellness. She was saying like I guess she uses the white light covering her, that imagery. I like to use a bubble. You can, whatever is helpful for you, like armor or whatever. Shout out to my Hypnosis for Peace, that is also on my channel that you can listen to. And I like to use a bubble, so that's in there, like being covered or being inside of a bubble, like nothing can, you know, touch my bubble, nothing can penetrate my bubble, it can bounce off of it. Whatever visual works for you, kind of do a whole body scan of being covered, like, okay, now this is covering my head, and maybe the white light is moving down towards my torso and my body, and you know, kind of just affirming. I like to also affirm that, like, I don't accept bad energy. Like, you kind of just cover yourself and just like, today I don't accept bad energy. I don't accept weird energy. I don't accept energy that I don't want. And that is super helpful. I remember, I think I said that at one point. I think I was in Myrtle Beach or something, and somebody said something to me, and I think somebody was like body shaming me or something. Happens too frequently. Then people get body shamed all the time too. And I was just like, I don't accept your energy. You can take that somewhere else. I do not accept your energy. I don't accept your bad energy. Like, it's not bad. I'm just saying something. It's bad energy. I don't accept it. You can go somewhere else with that. And I went about my day. So actually, the first time, quick story, I guess, the first time that I tried protecting my energy was in 2017. So fairly recent. I've been doing a lot of energetic work and working on trusting my intuition and stuff like that. And so I was really starting to recognize the energy vampires that were around me. But I had a trip I was going on with two very known energetic vampires. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, okay. And so I was really intentional about, I don't care what they do is their business. How they communicate with people is their business. I am only having a good time. I am not accepting anything negative. I am not going to allow anything they say fluster me. Yada, yada, yada. And long story short, I had a really good trip. So, and I had a really good time with those energetic vampires because I protected myself. And which goes into also observing how you feel around certain people and knowing who is, you know, maybe an energetic vampire, who, and you do that by noticing like how you feel around people, like how you feel around, like, okay, I just talked to this person. I feel so drained right now. I just talked to this person. I'm now in a bad mood. I just talked to this person and I just feel like full of life now. Like it's the, you know, who is basically really good, like energy giving and like energy taking, basically. Like notice like how you feel around people. And so, you know, I mean, you should protect your energy all the time, but just really so you know, yeah, like who specifically to protect your energy around is a good one. And that was like a really good practice I had to really be intentional about because I am an introvert. And so I get drained basically around everybody, you know, after a certain amount of time, after a certain, like, you know, extroverts, they get their energy from being around people. And that's actually an interesting thought because are extroverts inherently energy vampires? You know, let me know in the comments what you think. That just came into my head because I'm like, they literally get energized by being around people, but does that mean they're sucking stuff from other people? Are they sucking energy from other people? I just never thought about that. But yeah, so I don't like to be around people for an extended period of time. I need my solitude. My solitude is my strength. And so so being able to recognize that it was more like fine tuning that and all that stuff, because I get drained around, you know, a lot of people. But who do I get drained around after 30 minutes versus after 3 hours? Like I'm gonna be drained regardless after 3 hours, I guess. But yeah. So noticing who is a good one as well. Start to recognize and notice the difference of when you do and don't protect yourself. Because it's something that you have to be intentional about. And sometimes I just don't do it. I just forget. And I actually, when we were having that talk, which will be on an upcoming episode of the Feminine Waters podcast, I was reminded, like, yeah, like I really need to be more intentional about that, because sometimes I don't think about it, and I think about it too late. I think about it when I'm already like, this person just did a number on me. I did not protect myself today. Totally didn't do it. So now I'm like, when I get up in the morning, before I get out of my bed, I have started to be intentional about, before I leave this bed, let me go through my process of like how I'm protecting myself. So an example of example of when I don't, it's very like it's very I'm very quick to notice it like right after because I'll be just in a bad mood. So um for example, if somebody tells me, like I said, I'm observant. So sometimes I'm just sitting there. I'm just, you know, no expression. I'm just viewing what's around. And sometimes people like view that as like me being in a bad mood or something. And then they're like, oh, why are you angry today? Or, oh, what's wrong with you? And it's also probably the tone of how people can ask things in like an attacking way instead of being like, oh, are you okay? Like, are you feeling all right? You look a little bit mad or something. Like, it's all, yeah, it's also the tone, but it's like, oh, like, why are you angry? Like, I'm not. And now I am. Thanks, because you just annoyed me. And then I'll be like angry and annoyed for the rest of the day. Like, it's like they just basically threw their fish on me. Um, so maybe they're the ones that are angry about something, but and then I realized this wouldn't bother me if I had like protected my energy. So like get into the practice of doing that. Um, have some crystals around you. Crystals are really like uh they have good energy. They actually have a vibration to them, like high frequency vibrations and everything. I tend to maybe like pick a crystal for the day. Well, actually, like I have cards where they're actually like my old business cards. I don't think you can see that, but on the back of them, because they're old business cards, so I wrote on the back of them like the different properties of the crystals that I have, and I kind of just like shuffle it and then like pick a card for the day. And so I think it was really perfect that today I got black tourmaline organite. So I have mine with me because it's actually a protector against energy vampires. I was just like, oh, this is the most perfect thing I could get for today, as I knew I was going to talk about this topic. Like, perfect. So yeah, black tourmaline organite protects from energy vampires. It transmits or transmutes negative energy into positive energy. It calms anxiety, strengthens immune system, absorbs electromagnetic radiation. So it's a protector. So this is also like if you're going to do your energy protection like practice and visualization, maybe have a black tourmaline organite with you as well. Yeah, so those are my tips. I think that kind of covers everything that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so leave a comment if you have more suggestions on how to protect energy. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself. Again, the first step is just doing your practices. Like, you're always going to be like absorbing other people's energy if you don't do the work on yourself. If you're just like, I'm just going to go to work and I'm just going to come home and watch TV, and then I'm just going to eat and I'm just going to go to sleep and watch more TV or whatever. Like, no, have that time that you are intentional about meditating, about writing, about checking in with yourself. Otherwise, you're not gonna, like, that's just the first step. Like, uh, you have to work on yourself. Like, this channel is about self-development. So you have to develop yourself. So yeah, so any suggestions in the comments. Since we're on the subject of energy, check out my recent story time of the time I won in energy healing, which is actually a few months before I actually learned how to protect my energy, was when I had won this energy healing. So again, check out the Hypnosis for Peace as well. And sign up for my mailing list at mellowvybes.com, mellowvybes.com, and to keep up to date with all the things that I share, and you get a free gift when you sign up. And do not forget to like and share this video, and I will see you next time. Peace and mellow vibes.